Hey guys, welcome to today's video where we're going to talk about just buy a boat. Oh yeah. This is my kayak. Get yourself one. Fish on. Yeah. Oh my God. Look at that tank. That's a tow, brother. Golly. All right, guys, so before we jump into today's video, I want to lay a little bit of foundation, okay? There's three types of people that we have on my channel. So let me explain the three types of people that are here for this channel. The knuckleheads. Y'all are my family, okay? I'm a knucklehead. You're a knucklehead. Together, we are a knucklehead nation. In fact, KBF also stands for knucklehead bass fishing because a lot of y'all don't kayak fish, but you're just knuckleheads that like to bass fish, and we all get along great. Then there's the clowns, okay? When the clowns show up, the clowns say silly stuff or they say stupid stuff, but they don't necessarily mean any harm. And then there's the trolls. The trolls are the ones that show up and they're all intent on tearing down the message of the video or contradicting everything. And it happens on every channel. It happens all over YouTube. It happens all over social media. It's just part of it. And so the clown is the guy that just is ignorant. Ignorant's not a bad word. It just means they don't know any better. And so that's the purpose of this video. For you knuckleheads out there that love it when the clowns show up and you love it even more when the trolls show up, this video is the video that we as a family are going to post in the comment section every time one of these clowns or trolls shows up with the "just buy a boat" comment. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples. When we do the videos on advanced kayak fishing trailers, man, if you're going to buy all that crap, might as well buy a boat. Or if I do a video on putting a depth finder on a kayak or a power pole or a motor. Oh, once you put a motor on it, you might as well buy a boat, okay? That stuff happens all the time. And again, there's two categories. There's the clown who's saying it but doesn't really mean any harm. And then there's the troll that's trying to tear down what we do as kayak fishermen. To me, it's kind of funny. It's almost like the vegans that show up on the hunting channels and try to make comments. It's like, know your audience, okay? You're not gonna come in there and make one stupid comment and then we all go, oh, you know what? You're right, we probably should buy a boat. Well, so much for today's video. I'm out of here. So, like, it's not like you're gonna roll in and make one comment and I'm gonna go, wait a second, I should just buy a boat? God damn, why didn't I think of that? Here's why that's a silly comment, a stupid comment, or an ignorant comment, or some combination of all of the above. And that's why I want you guys to grab this video and post it as a reply every time the clowns or the trolls show up. And sometimes there's like a clole, like a part clown, part troll. And I think some people have like a joint identity. And it's just like the vegans that show up on the hunting channels and try to tear down hunting. There's also hunters that go to the vegan channels and argue with a vegan. And if you argue with a vegan, you might as well do this. I don't like the way you look. You should change the way you look. Dude, arguing with that kayak right there to change its colors is about like arguing with a vegan, or if you're a vegan, arguing with a hunter. The same thing is true for kayak fishing and boat fishing. I'm not anti-boat fishing. In fact, my favorite type of boat is a friend's boat, right? They get to pay the payment, they get to store it, they get to maintain it. I get to show up and throw them some gas money and go fishing. I love fishing from a boat, but I personally fish in places more, and my fishing style is more that I wanna go places boats can't get. A couple weeks ago, I was fishing Guntersville. I paddled right to this spot and was catching fish. I watched this dude over my shoulder blowing up a rooster tail, tearing up grass, just raising all kinds of holy hell. And honestly, by the time he got there, I'd caught like 15 fish. He didn't catch a single fish. And that's exactly, like that point right there is why I love to kayak fish. I love to catch them where others can't. I love to get into the places that other people can't. Both the launches that you can get to, the access that you can get to. I love no motor lakes. I also love fishing rivers and creeks and isolated waters. I like paddling down a creek, running into a beaver dam, dragging my kayak up over the beaver dam. And guess what, guys? For the naysayers out there that are in the kayak fishing community, again, those ones that kind of blur the line between knucklehead, clown, and troll, if I have a motor on my kayak, I'm still kayak fishing. You don't have to agree with me, because I will freedom the way I freedom, and you could freedom the way you freedom. But Even with the motor on my boat, when I get to that beaver dam, I can drag over the top of it. When I get to that berm, because the water levels come down and isolated a little pocket in the middle of nowhere, I can drag my kayak back in there. I can launch on the side of the road. I can launch at a bridge. I can do all the things that I love about kayak fishing. So the other part of that argument that's silly, the just buy a boat thing, is one, it's more expensive. It's more expensive to make the initial purchase, and it's also more expensive to maintain it, to insure it, to store it, to do all of those things. So we, as a kayak fishing family, the knuckleheads that make up this community, we love to kayak fish because we love to kayak fish. So don't show up and try to tell us we should do something different. You're in the wrong place, okay? First of all, and second of all, we kayak fish because we like access. We like being low to the water and slow to the water. I like skipping up under trees. I like being able to skip up under docks. Everything I love about kayak fishing has nothing to do with how much it costs. So even though I spend more on my gear, I would spend the exact same amount on the stuff on a bass boat, but then the bass boat costs more, the insurance costs more, the maintenance costs more, the total cost of ownership is just way more. But more important than all of that, because maybe one day I'm gonna add a bass boat back to the arsenal, but more important than that, we kayak fish because we love the freedom that it brings us. So the purpose of this video, when I'm bringing it all together, is to give you knuckleheads something easy to drop in the comments instead of drawing swords and fighting with the clowns or butting heads with the trolls. But it also gives you clowns and trolls a little bit of insight to why we don't just buy a boat. All right, so in summary, I made this video because I want you knuckleheads that are part of my family that I love to have a quick link that you can just grab and drop it in the comment. You don't have to type out a bunch of stuff. You don't have to go back and forth with the clowns or with the trolls. It's almost like you drop the link and it's your mic drop. You just walk off, and if they want to watch the video, great. And if they don't, then okay. Probably they weren't going to watch it in the first place. Just like the guy that bashes a vegan's never going to become a vegan, and the vegan that bashes a hunter is never going to become a hunter. You're basically standing out in the field and hollering at each other, and it doesn't make any sense. But if you are genuinely making that comment out of ignorance because you don't know any better, or you think we kayak fish because it's solely about the money, it's not about the money from the standpoint of getting in the cheapest kayak we can. It's also not about the money when it comes to buying nice stuff if you like to kayak fish. I'm a middle-aged man who's worked my whole life, retired from the Navy, built and sold businesses, and I could really buy whatever I want. I choose to fish from a kayak because I love the access. I love that little bit of exercise that I get. I like the adventure aspect of it. I like the ability to go with a motor if I want, go without a motor if I want, pedal if I want. And I just truly believe that being able to get into those places and catch them where others can't, getting into creeks and rivers and having, you know, no motor lakes that I can access, stretches of WMA backwater waterfowl management areas, and again, just those places you absolutely cannot get into with any other watercraft, with the exception of maybe a canoe or other similar kayak. You can't even, you know, get a John boat in a lot of these places. But if you took the concept and put dollar for dollar, the same depth finder, the same, you know, power pole, the same, all that stuff, you would still spend that money on a boat, but the boat itself is cheaper. And again, the total cost of ownership long-term without the insurance and all the other costs that goes along with owning a boat makes kayak fishing a big reason why we do what we do. But I think the number one reason we do it is because it's just a different experience. We get to set the hook and go for a sleigh ride. We get the fish right next to us in the boat and splash water in our face because we kayak fish for the experience. So again, if you don't know how to articulate it and you don't want to take the time to argue, this video is for you, knuckleheads. I want y'all to do me a favor and bookmark this video so that when you see that comment, actually here or on other social media platforms, because it's pretty rampant, just grab the link to this video and post it up and let those folks understand why we don't just buy a boat.